question that pops up from my intuition repeatedly that won't go away is, how stable is Tether? Is it truly stable? In this video, we're going to catch up. We're going to look at where Tether is right now. And just with that information, I'm hoping that it can better prepare you, whatever you decide to do next. I'm Joanna Garzilli. This is Crypto Angel Network. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and lighting up that bell so that you get my notifications if you have not already. I appreciate you, Crypto Angels, your comments, your likes, especially your comments, because they provide great insight. And I'm trying to remember who told me when I did my last Tether videos. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm very, let's see. I have done a couple of videos. I did one in May, which was how stable is Tether, with a lot of question marks, what you must know before investing in cryptocurrency. And then I did another one, is US dollar Tether stable? How will Tether weather the imminent crypto regulations? Because, and that was in June. And back then I saw a number of YouTubers go and say that it's not a big regulations, it's way off, it's probably not going to happen, it's so unlikely, or things that are totally decentralized are not going to come under scrutiny. But as I just mentioned in another video, and I know Ivan and Tech went more deeply into it, Uniswap is meant to be fully decentralized, and yet they are having to make changes because the powers that be are starting to regulate more and more. And so I think it is picking up at a little bit of an accelerated pace, at a clip. And so where are we at now? That's what we're going to look at with Tether. What I wanted to say was, I have a feeling it was Cosmic Crypto Silver Caravan. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Who on my last Tether video I'd done, they said, "Oh, have you seen CoffeeZilla?" And I hadn't at that point. And CoffeeZilla did a brilliant breakdown of Tether as well. And I saw that after I had done my videos, and it just really gave me peace of mind to feel like I wasn't going crazy. Because when I watched BitBoy the other day on Around the Blockchain saying, "Oh, there's no problem with Tether and there's no issue with it," and yeah, I know BitBoy, he has a really big channel and there's a lot of stuff I really like that he does, but I personally feel, well, obviously personally, because it's my feeling, I feel he is off on this. BitBoy, you are off on this. I do not agree that they're just going to sweep it under the rug with Tether, because there's a big problem with them. And the SEC and the AG and the central banks, they're going to want to make an example of someone, unless they end up being brought into the fold. But then wouldn't that be sort of like a mafia of sorts? And I mean, that's a whole nother thing. I don't want to go into like a whole conspiracy type thing, but I just do not see how Tether is going to get away with what they are doing. So if you haven't seen CoffeeZilla's video on Tether, I highly recommend that as well, thanks to Crypto Angel here in the community. Let me go ahead and share my screen again, and why recently I was in a ton of different trading pairs of tokens, a lot of different tokens that were paired with US dollars. Sorry, I had my brain there for a second. That are paired with US dollar Tether. And I ended up then, when things started to go really crazy, where I had the Gate.io issue and I couldn't access stuff on my account for a 24-hour period, and I have been able to since, but I went, to me, that's a sign. I'm exiting a majority of my positions. I had quite a hefty amount in different tokens that were with USDT, and I totally minimized what I have now in that. I still have some stuff on Gate, but not that much. Look, I'll show you. I mean, let's see, in my where is it? In my wallets here with Gate, Gate token. You can see here. I don't even I've actually got on my calendar written down that I need to go and trade that US dollar Tether, go and put in Ethereum or Bitcoin or something else. And I still have some, a handful of other trading pairs. Some of them I still have some of this stuff on Gate, but a fraction of what I had on there, a much, much smaller amount, and I moved most of my stuff over to Coinbase Pro. But let me just get back to Tether. So this is something newer that came out. There were several different, it came out on several, it came out on Business Insider. It was also, they put it on Fortune, on Bloomberg, but I'm going to go with here from, I feel like CNBC did the clearest story on it. So DOJ reportedly investigates crypto company Tether for possible bank fraud. And, you could say, well, February, they paid the fine. Now, this is something prior to that. This goes back further. So let's just take a look. The Justice Department is investigating possible bank fraud by executives of Tether Limited, according to Bloomberg News. And just remember that the whole thing and you can see my earlier videos that I showed you before. If you haven't already, go to my videos on stablecoins. If you go to the tab on stablecoins, and you can see them there. The probe, and so this is what I was talking about. The probe has implications for the crypto market. And that's why when Bless BitBoy, when he says, it's not going to be an issue, I mean, to me, that's like when there's a whopping great storm coming and it's like, it's fine. It's just going to be a little drizzle. It's going to be freaking tornado. It's going to be hurricane level type stuff. I mean, I just don't see how this cannot be addressed, and it is starting to be addressed. And so why now is the Justice Department going all the way back? Tether Stablecoin is the third largest digital asset by market cap at 62.3 billion. It is. And if we look right now, look, in the past 24 hours, they had 76 billion trading volume. It has a huge impact on the crypto market. And then we can see US dollar coin has 27 billion. They just, not that long ago, I think even just back in May, they only had around 6 billion. So they've added a whole load in. But you can see from that trading volume, 73 billion for US dollar coin. Another stable coin, there's only 4 billions worth traded in that 24 hours. And then with DAI, where are you? DAI, here we go, DAI token. So we've got 5 billion of DAI as a stable coin and 591 million they're traded. Let's head back over here, right? So we can just gain perspective. The Justice Department is investigating possible bank fraud. I mean, from what I've looked at before, I cannot imagine how they haven't, because these seem pretty sketchy to me. Bank fraud by executives of Tether Limited, stemming from actions during the early days of its stablecoin cryptocurrency. Its early days, which was back with Brock Pierce. The probe has implications for the crypto market. Tether stablecoin is the third largest. Yep, we've gone over that according to CoinGecko, and traders often use it instead of dollars, right? This is what I was saying. For example, I love Gate.io exchange. I loved all the different projects they were doing. I think now my understanding is Gate has starting to take fiat, so you don't have to, and I have to look actually. Let me just check that right now, because I haven't done any trading on Gate. But let's say, for example, let's say if I did want to trade, I wanted to do Shiba, which I just saw a YouTuber say today, this is your last chance to get Shiba today before it totally pumps. It's your only time. Look at those red candles. Yeah, I mean, it's going to come back and go green in that, but just some of these people, just, oh my gosh, seriously. Let's look from here at trading pairs. I want to see if they made that change. Markets on Gate. It's all US dollar Tether. Yeah. Well, how come I saw something go out with Gate in their newsletter saying that you could now do USD, just USD or pound, GBP, Great British Pound, Euro. It doesn't look like it. But you see, if something happens to Tether, oh my goodness. And I know one could say, well, you can sort of take it out of your wallet and then move over to another exchange. But for those who are not so tech savvy, it's a little bit scary doing that. I know I get nervous just sending, so I've got more used to it. But anyway, so there you can see all USDT, and the effect that will have if something happens here. So all I'm saying is, for myself, I minimized the risk, my position there, because I had quite a lot on Gate. I think I had a lot. For me anyway, it's a lot. I had tens of thousands of dollars on there that would have had to be with Tether trading pair. And I just went, no, enough. And then this just came out. The DOJ's investigation is focused on activity from Tether's early days, probing whether the company misled banks by hiding the fact that transactions were linked to cryptocurrency. Ooh, citing 3 people with direct knowledge of the matter who asked not to be named because the probe is confidential. Well, something that I noticed, let me just show you this and then we'll move on with this. But bear with me, right? Citing 3 people with direct knowledge. And this is what popped into my head from when I did my last 2 videos. If we go to Tether, right, we can see here now, they had more people on here before. They had 7 people on here. They still have JL van der Velde. They still have Giancarlo Devasini. Giancarlo Devasini has got into trouble before and had criminal charges, not big ones, but he's been naughty in the past and he had to pay a fine and he got fired. JL van der Velde, there's not that much on him online from his history, and it's amazing that these executives have gone on to build Tether in a short time to over 62 billion. And then Stuart Hogner, who has been involved in some activities in the past where he has been fired and got into trouble doing some sketchy stuff with gambling, betting type tokens, but my understanding has been misleading with that information. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be, I mean, it should be one of these 3. But this led me to go, well, where are the other 4 people that were on there? So I just hopped over to LinkedIn to look at Tether. And I remember that Paolo A. Where's Paolo? I mean, for Tether in this huge company, it's interesting. It's just like, hey, Paolo A. Okay, Paolo A. I mean, is that your name? Like, what's your full last name? I mean, I guess I could look that up. But Chief Technology Officer at Bitfinex. So I remember he was on here before. I gotta look. Like, this is driving me nuts. Paolo A. Bitfinex. Does anything come up here? Oh, Paolo Ardoino. But it's interesting, you just put A. Okay. Going back to this. Okay. I guess he's got 2 profiles there. Paolo, there he is. And there he is again. So I hadn't looked further down there. So he was, from what I remember, I could be wrong, but I remember him being on the on that other video I done when I looked and I did my research, and Claudia L, where is her full last name? Claudia L, Chief Operating Officer at Bitfinex. And this was the whole thing with the Attorney General of New York, where Tether got fined because they were mixing business, taking funds and liquidating from Bitfinex over to Tether, and taking money from Bitfinex. So you're basically mixing funds, and you can't do that, and it's the same executives. So these were two names that stood out to me there. The other ones I don't recognize. So could it be, if it's early banking issues, and I'm pretty certain that Claudia, let me look at Claudia from Bitfinex. They're married, right? Aren't they married? I thought Claudia Bitfinex. Claudia joined Bitfinex. About Us Bitfinex. Anyway, let's see. Where is that? Claudia. So look, same people. If you look at Bitfinex, J.L. Van der Velde, Giancarlo Devanisi, Stuart Hoegner, who we see over on Tether site. But now it's just the three of them on there. And Claudia was on there. Paolo was on there. I know Stuart Hoegner's still on there. And I guess Peter Warrack, right, from Bitfinex. And now that's separated off. So let's go back over here. I mean, you let me know in the comments. Who do you think it could be? And then the early days of Tether as well was Brock Pierce as well. But he wasn't involved in the operations, right? I mean, he was just like, hey, just part of like the setup, one of the founders of it. It's my understanding. So 3 people with direct knowledge. The probe is confidential. Federal prosecutors have sent letters in recent months to individuals alerting them that they are targets of the investigation, and the decision on the probe could be made soon, according to the news agency. So, I mean, yeah, Claudia's not on there, and Paolo's not on there anymore. Those, like I said, were 2 names that stood out to me. Why are their names suddenly not on Tether? And that's the other thing. For Tether being 62 billion, this is such a short description that's here. Tether's platform is built to be fully transparent at all times. I mean, it's just, look, I mean, this is just such a simple site. I don't know, it's really, find it very, very odd. The Justice Department declined a CNBC request for comment. Tether dismissed the report in an emailed statement, which is probably from Stuart Hoegner, saying it's business as usual at the company and that it's determined to remain leaders in the community. It also said Tether routinely has open dialogue with law enforcement agencies. Yeah, I don't think you're actively choosing to do that. You still haven't done a proper audit. US dollar coin recently did a full verified audit, and you haven't. Let's see. Including the US Department of Justice as part of our commitment to cooperation, transparency, and accountability. I mean, actions speak louder than words. We are proud of our role as industry leaders in promoting cooperation between industry and government authorities in the US and around the world. We remain committed to our customers and the industry-leading technology and transparency that has led to our growth. But again, from prior videos that I've talked in, that CoffeeZilla did a brilliant summary of, you haven't been Tether. You just haven't. So this is like the latest thing that's come out here. Depending on the outcome of the investigation, it could lead to stricter oversight of stablecoins by regulators and more transparency in how digital assets are backed, transacted, and traded. According to Jesse Proudman, co-founder of crypto robo-advisor Makara Digital. I mean, that's fine. It's okay if there's regulations with stuff. I think we are moving towards digital finance becoming part of mainstream banking at large. And it's a gift and it's a curse. It's a good thing because it means wider mass adoption of crypto and all these amazing projects that, are over here on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. And at the same time, also, it just means, yes, like the good old days, so to speak, which, I'd only dipped my toe in and then left, is also, it's for people who are unsuspecting, can end up being like deers in headlights and they get run over. And I know I was a deer at one point and I no longer am a deer. My eyes are wide open. Tether was created in 2014 in response to one of the biggest challenges for crypto startups at the time, bank de-risking. Most businesses handling cryptocurrencies had difficulty obtaining bank relationships because the highly regulated financial institutions feared doing business with companies that could potentially be tied to illicit activities. But Tether, it's like they, just like the central bank does, they print and they just, how? I think it was in the past year, Tether has printed well over 30 billion. Like, who for 5 executives? And here now on Tether's site, if we just look at About Us, we just got 3 people here, gambling, betting, doing some naughty activity with selling computer software, and someone else that's not that, whatever, online, can just pull out of thin air over 30 billion new dollars. It just doesn't make sense to me. If one is questioning something over and over, how can this not be an issue? Tether has long been controversial, largely because of concerns it doesn't always have enough reserves to justify its peg to the US dollar. It doesn't. I covered that in another video in detail, where I found this brilliant article from this investigative journalist that we went through, and I highly recommend you watch my other 2 videos on Tether, especially if you have anything that is a trading pair with it. Please, I just want you to be careful. I just really want you to do your due diligence. I'm not trying to FUD here. I just have not a good feeling, and I hope I'm wrong. Like, I really hope I'm totally wrong on this. Stable coins, digital currencies designed to be more stable than cryptocurrencies because they peg the market value to an outside asset like the US dollar. It's like Yellen, Treasury Secretary, President Working Group on Financial Market, discussed stablecoins' potential role in the financial system. And then we had, the whole big thing was when you look up the news story in Tether, they agreed to pay the 18.5 million fine because of mixing funds, right? There was $850 million of losses for people who were using Bitfinex exchange. Let's see where we're at with Bitfinex down here. Bitfinex. How far down is Bitfinex? Did I just shoot past it? I don't know. Did I just go by it? I must be further up. Bittrex, Bitstamp, there it is. So I went straight past it. Okay, so 24-hour volume for Bitfinex is just over 1 billion. And, it's interesting to me that if for Bitfinex, their trading volume is just over 1 billion, and yet they have 62 billion for Tether, right? These same executives. So, who do you think it could be that is having this letter that came from the DOJ? Not from the DOJ, from the DOJ, Justice Department. Who is receiving those letters? Who is being put on notice? Who is this probe? Who is this on? Let me know in the comments what you think. If you think it's just like, the SEC, the DOJ, they're all just going after them. They want to make an example of crypto. I don't think so. I just think that this is massive fraud, like a Bernie Madoff type scenario. mean, just again, I've talked about it in other videos, but I do not trust these people. I do not trust them. When I look energetically, I'm like, I want to like you, but I don't trust you. I just don't. And more will be revealed. So which one of these people are being investigated? I'm wondering if it's Claudia and Paolo. We'll see. We'll see. But there we go. There's my FUD on Tether. I love doing FUD on Tether. No, seriously, I don't love doing FUD on it. If this hadn't been going on with Tether, I would still probably have a much more diverse portfolio because I wouldn't feel nervous about the trading pairs. And I don't use decentralized exchanges. I use centralized exchanges because I'm just not as tech savvy as some of you. Some of you are fantastic on this, and I'm just not in the same way. So I will. I'm going to keep tracking Tether because it is a slight obsession of mine, and we will see what occurs. If for some reason this probe goes further, and what will this do? I do not think that the Yellen, that the government is going to let the entire crypto industry collapse, because so many institutions are in there now and you have so much retail, and it would be an absolute disaster. And I think that maybe there would be some shifts in balancing out the stable coins. We will see some stable coins disappear. We will maybe there will be some type of new stable coin that hasn't hit the cryptocurrency scene yet, will come into effect. Or maybe a US dollar coin or DAI, or I understand that Cardano is creating a stable coin that maybe they will do something, and the landscape will shift. So where that 62 billion is so focused on the very unstable Tether, the very unstable stable coin, that there will be a shift there. I think that's what might occur. I will be very, very, very surprised if in 2022 Tether still has that this massive market cap. I mean, my gosh, if Tether in 2022 suddenly has like 100 billion Tether out there for the crypto industry, that would be very scary to me. I would just only stick with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I would probably, if something like that happened, I would probably, when things pump, I would take profits and sit on the sidelines until it calms down. So there are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'm Joanna Garzilli. This is Crypto Angel Network, and I am sending you lots of love, and I will see you next time.